Hey everybody, it's Lisa Robinson here with Lisa Marie Accounting, and today is the final knowledge session for the series that I'm doing, and we're going to be talking all about paying yourself. So I want to go back and just kind of reiterate what we've been talking about was, why budgeting was important, budgeting for those operating expenses, and then of course last week we talked about the budgeting for setting aside money to put up for taxes, which is really important. And today I want to talk about my favorite subject. Hey, Kim. And my favorite subject is paying yourself. And so as entrepreneurs, we get in this habit of, again, it's part of the never-ending merry-go-round, I guess, where we are constantly funneling money in, but we're not actually making sure we're actually paying ourselves. How we pay ourselves is we'll just transfer money when we need it, or oh, this bill needs to be paid, we'll just pay it out of this account. And so then at the end of the year, when you see you've made money, you're like, how did I make money? Well, I never saw it. Well, technically you did. You just didn't have it being consistent on a set amount and actually paying yourself, so you didn't actually see it. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about the importance of knowing your operating expenses, knowing your income, being able to put money aside for taxes. All of that has to do with also being able to pay yourself. So it's all, in my opinion, it's all really important to know, because you can't really decide how much money you want to pay yourself if you don't know all this other information, right? So it's really important to know all of that. And the reason why is because each person is different. So what I want to pay myself and what I may be able to pay myself is going to be slightly different than, say, for example, Kim, what you can pay yourself or what you want to pay yourself. Then also you have to realize that what you want to pay yourself may be a goal you have to reach. Whereas right now, where you're at, you wouldn't be able to actually start paying yourself that. So what you do from all that information that you have is be able to make sure that you know all your numbers, so that you can determine what exactly it is you can pay yourself. And so, and then a lot of people are like, yeah, well, I'll just move money when I need it. Well, you can, but why not set up a set thing and say, okay, if you want to pay yourself $500 every 2 weeks, or if you're able to, you want to pay yourself $1,000 every 2 weeks, whatever, or once a month. I have some clients who pay themselves once a month. I have other clients who do it weekly. I have some that do it every other week. I do mine every other week. And I'm going to tell you, it's kind of cool. I mean, you go into your business account and you say, okay, this money goes to tax, this money goes to the operating, and here I'm paying myself. And I actually transfer money from my business account to my personal account, and that's me paying myself. And yeah, there's sometimes you have to kind of work with it and make sure that it's an amount you can do. And then yes, there are some times where you have to go back in and you hit what I call little molehills, where things happen, right? Life happens. For example, today, it's spring break. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. My girls are now on spring break. They will be home all next week. And my little one decided she wanted to go to my mother-in-law's for the weekend. And of course, that was decided at 10:30. And of course, I had to reschedule, today. And so today was one of my days that I was transferring money. So that was one of the things I did today, is I moved money to my personal account so that I was paying myself. And it's really cool because you start seeing a set amount move to your account every other Friday or every Friday, and it does something for your self-esteem, right? You see the benefits from it. Not only because you love what you're doing, but you're also seeing yourself get paid from your business. And it's just a simple thing of just transferring money. And one of the reasons why you want to make sure you're doing that is, so one, that you are able to pay yourself, that you're able to take care of those bills, and two, that you're honest, you're able to see that you're paying yourself, but you're also still separating those funds, if that makes sense. So you're not paying for your personal stuff out of your business account. You're moving money from your business account to your personal account, and that's you, quote unquote, paying yourself. And so then you're able to do the things that you want to do. And when you budget for all of that and you see, okay, well, I'm not to the point to where I can pay myself what I want, you're able to look at everything and determine what needs to be done to get you there, if that makes sense. It's kind of the same way of you wanting to invest in your business, whether it's a coach or a perfect example, I wanted to invest for a VA. I was just able to do that. A few months ago, I wasn't. I had to look at my numbers and figure out, okay, if I was ready, if I could. So it's the same thing with being able to pay yourself. If you're wanting to pay yourself this amount, look, you have to be able to know what your operating expenses are, what your income is coming in, so that you can determine, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to launch a program? Do I need to raise my fees? Or do I need to cut, is there an operating expense that needs to be cut out that I'm not utilizing so that I can make sure I can reach this? So all of that comes into play. So hopefully that, I'm hoping I'm making sense. But all of that comes into play, right? So it's really important to be able to see what all those numbers are and be able to sit down and say, okay, this is my goal, this is where I want to get to, and then where you're at. Now, you also have to be realistic, okay? When I first started my business, most all of us want to pay ourselves. Let's be realistic. I want to pay myself what I was getting, at least what I was getting in my full-time job. That was over $2,000 a month. There was no way I was going to be able to start myself off at $2,000 a month. So you want to make a goal of where you can at least attain it. So you want to be able to say, okay, this is where my numbers are. This is what I can start doing, and make sure I still have money to be able to take care of everything else, and then gradually work it up and get to the point to where you're at. Believe it or not, if you look at your goals and you look at your numbers, and I even did a post today about making sure you look at your quarterly numbers. I look at mine monthly and quarterly. And if you looking at them and I look at my budget monthly to make sure there's no changes that need to be made. When you do that, you're able to see where you're at, what's going on. You're able to see, okay, this is how much money was coming in. My money's increased. My income is increased because I've done this. You know what? I can increase my pay. And then you're able to see it on paper and know that you're going to be okay to increase your pay. I hope that makes sense. Because you don't want to just say, okay, I'm just going to move money and just pay yourself every day. You don't want to transfer money every day, because then again, what happens is you're not really seeing yourself being paid. And so when we do it consistently, you choose, do you want it weekly? Do you want it every other week? Or do you want it monthly? What works best for you? Again, what works best for you may not work best for me. So that's one of the reasons why I work with my clients the way I do, is because each individual is different and each business is different. And so you may need to be able to be paid more often because the money's coming in, but also where your bills are at. So it just depends. So you need to actually make sure you're looking at it and determining how much you can actually transfer so you can pay yourself. So I've got a question for all of y'all there on, and even once you watch the replay, please answer, because I will be checking. How many of you right now are actually are paying yourself consistently? Is anyone on here paying themselves consistently? Yes or no? Anybody? Anybody? You want to tell me? No? If you're paying yourself consistently, why don't you put a 1 for yes? If you're not, put a 2 for no. Okay. Kim said, no. Okay. Well, don't feel bad. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And that's the reason why I want you to tell me, because you're gonna be surprised. Most entrepreneurs do not pay themselves consistently, and most of them are like, oh, I'm the only one. No, you're not. You're honest to goodness, you're not. So it's okay. But what we want to do is we want to get out of that habit, because one of the reasons what happens is, again, you're on this never-ending merry-go-round, right? You went into business so that you could work for yourself, right? And pay yourself and be able to do things you want to do. Well, if you're on that never-ending merry-go-round and you're not actually setting money aside out of your business income to actually pay yourself, then how are you actually going to be able to do the things you want to be able to do, right? Because you're just funneling money wherever it's needed. So there's no consistency and you have no control over it. Whereas if you have a budget and you're looking at everything and you're saying, okay, this is how much I'm going to pay myself right now, then you have control back, and you're able to say, you're able to look at the numbers and see what you can do with it. Does that make sense? And so it's really important, a story of your life. Don't feel bad, mine too. So it's really important to be able to just look at it, okay, and be able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to pay myself. I have clients who are now paying themselves who weren't before, and let me tell you, they love it. There's one client, she says, I know this is how much I'm getting because this is how much we determine I can do, and I'm able to do what I need to do with it, and I know what's going on. I go in, I move the money where it needs to be, and I'm able to see everything. It's given her that control back, and that's what I'm trying to do for y'all and explain to y'all, is that the beauty of it, even if you hate numbers, the beauty of it, doing it step by step and looking at it on paper and being able to see the income and the business expenses and having that stuff budgeted, and then determining how much you're going to pay yourself and how much you're going to put money aside for taxes. The beauty of it is the fact that you have that control and you have that empowerment. And we all want that, right? We want to be able to work for ourselves and pay ourselves so that we can do the things that we want to do in life. We don't want to just constantly be on that never-ending merry-go-round. At least I don't. So what I want you to do is, I want you to, if you've watched all the videos, if you haven't, go back and watch the other ones. But I want you to do the worksheet. I want you to look at them. I want you to look at your expenses, and I want you to be realistic, okay? Be realistic about paying yourself and how much and where you're at. And it might be that what you've been transferring, you may not be able to. So you're going to have to actually look at your operating expenses. And this is where it gets really complicated for some, because they're like, I don't want to give up some of the expenses. But you need to be realistic and determine, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to increase my income, cut the expenses, or am I going to have to not pay myself so much at first until my income builds up? And that might be the case, and that's okay. I'm gonna be honest, I started myself out at, I think, like $200 every 2 weeks at first. That was not nearly enough to pay all my bills. But I increased it, because as I increased my income, the percentage that I was paying myself increased. So you just have to, be mindful of how you're spending the money. You have to have that control and be empowered by it, and not let it control you, and not be just constantly spending without thinking about it. Because when you spend and you don't think about it, again, money just kind of disappears, right? You're like, okay, wait a minute, where the hell did the money go? And so what I want you to do is, I want you to stop that. I want you to be mindful of it, and I want you to say, you know what? I work hard. I do a good job. Kim, you're an awesome VA. Hello. I can tell you, everything you've done for me so far has been a godsend. So you're an awesome VA, so you deserve to pay yourself, right? You deserve to get paid. So being knowledgeable about your numbers and being knowledgeable about what's going on with that money is going to help you be able to pay yourself and have that empowerment, and not have the money control you, but instead you be in control of it. Oh, I'm so glad. You haven't seen nothing yet, though. I got more stuff, so I'd be careful. Y'all, I've hired her, so she's helping me. So, and see, right, you're ready to pay yourself, right? So you do good work, and you should pay yourself, right? And one of the things we have to remember is, when our business income makes money, our business is making money, that's not technically us making money. And the reason why is because you have those business expenses, and then you also have where you need to be putting money aside for taxes, so that when you make a profit, you can pay those taxes, right? So we have to remember that money is not technically being paid all to us. It can't. Okay? So when you get out of that mindset and you change the way you're thinking of it, and you look at the whole big picture that way, you're able to say, okay, you know what? This is how much I'm putting aside for taxes each time. This is how much I'm going to pay myself weekly, bi-weekly, or every month. And now okay, for every $100 I get, I'm going to get 20, 50, whatever it is, and you have to make sure it works for you. And then, you know, each week when you're paid, or if you get paid every other 2 weeks, and kind of look at how often you're paid. Like most of my money comes in from my clients between the 1st and the 15th. So I make sure that basically I get paid right during the I guess like the 5th, and then towards the middle of the month. And so you want to make sure that you're doing that. Somebody sent me an angry face. Why are y'all sending me angry faces? What did I say that was wrong? I want you to pay yourself, but you got to know your numbers in order to do it, right? You have to know your numbers in order to pay yourself. You have to, you can, let me take that back. You can just, oh, I'm just going to pay myself this and not know your numbers. But what's going to happen, and point blank, I'm just going to say it, you're going to screw yourself if you do. Point blank. And how you're going to screw yourself is because you're going to pay yourself money not thinking about what your coach you've invested in, whoever you've hired to help you, what other ever expenses you have, and you're going to end up screwing yourself because you're not going to have that money. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have to transfer money back from your business, or from your personal account to your business account to make up for it, or you're going to be in the negative and you're not going to be able to make up for it because you've already spent it. Okay, it's the same thing with your operating expenses. If you're not thinking about all that money and you're keeping all that money in there, and then you've got the personal expenses, so you've got to, honest to goodness, you have to look at everything and be mindful about it and know what's going on with your business expenses and how much money you need to put up for your taxes, determining how much you're going to start putting up for your taxes so that you can also pay yourself. Because we work hard, and I don't know about you, but I like being able to pay myself. I want to be able to pay myself, and I should be able to, right? And so it should be consistent. You want it to be consistent. You don't want to be transferring money daily. You don't want to be transferring money just when a bill is due. And it's hard to get out of that cycle, because I think us as entrepreneurs, that's just something we do. But if you get out of that cycle and you're honest and you're mindful about it, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to be empowered, okay? Because you're going to know what's going on with your numbers. Two, your business is going to grow. I pretty much guarantee it. And I'm living proof of it, because once I stopped just transferring money when it was needed, oh, light bills due, transfer money. Oh, telephone bills due, transfer money. Once I stopped that, and I was mindful about the operating expenses, mindful about what was going on personal, and determining how much I needed to pay myself. And I did it this way, the exact same way I'm teaching y'all. When I did that, not only did I take control back, but my business grew. And the reason why the business grew is because I knew what the hell I was doing, what was going on with my money. I knew how much the business was bringing in, and then I knew what was needed. And if you know how much more money you need in your business so that you can do the things you want to do, what's going to happen? You're going to work harder. You're going to be more visible. You're going to do the things your coach or coaches are telling you to do. You're going to do everything in your power. You're going to determine if fees need to be increased, or if you need to launch a new program, or if you need to launch a special, or whatever it is that you need to do, you're going to do it. And then you're going to set these goals. Okay, I'm going to increase my money, my income, my business income by this amount. And that's the other thing. Setting goals is huge. I set a goal each month on what I want my business to bring in. And each month that I set a goal, I work really hard to achieve it. There were months when I didn't set goals. And if I didn't set the goal, it was like I didn't bring any income in, because I wasn't actually trying and working hard to achieve that goal. Okay? So when you look at the business numbers, you want to set a goal. And in order to set that goal, how can you set a goal on how much money you want to bring in if you don't know your numbers? I mean, yeah, you can pick a number out of the sky if you want to, but I say be more realistic about it and set a goal that, one, can be reachable, so that when you do reach it, you feel on top of the world. And then you can set a goal a little bit higher, right? So when you do that and you set that goal, now you're able to pay yourself, because one, you know what you needed, and two, you have the money for the operating expenses, and three, you have money to put aside for taxes. And I'm going to say it, that's what makes sassy and sexy money. is being able to pay yourself, being able to put money aside for taxes. So come tax time, you're not stressed and worried, and being able to invest back in your business and take care of the operating expenses. What's sassy and sexier than that? You don't have chaos. You don't have no idea what's going on with your money. Instead, you know what's going on with your money because you're in control, and you're able to consistently pay yourself. And because of that, you know what goals you need to achieve so that you can increase it. Perfect example, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to brag. Last October, I made a trip to Canada. I've never been out of the United States, okay? That was my first trip. I would have never been able to do that if I wouldn't have been know what was going on with my numbers. I was able to pay myself so that I could buy some clothes so I could go. There were clothes I wanted. I didn't need clothes, but there were some things I wanted to buy. I was able to pay myself extra because I knew what was going on with my money. Another example, I just booked my the Airbnb that I'm going to be staying at for Palm Springs. Okay, again, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't know what was going on with my numbers. And I've paid myself extra so that I can get, I need a new pair of boots, and my daughter is going to her first formal. It's an 8th grade formal. She's going to need a dress. So because I know my numbers, I knew I needed to make sure I was paid myself, because it doesn't come out of business expense for the dress or my boots, so that I could actually do that. I wouldn't be able to take these trips, y'all, if I was not aware of what was going on with my numbers. Okay, I'm making sure money that's being spent for this is coming out of business expense. Okay, I need to pay myself, and so, okay, well, am I able to pay myself extra this time? Right? I know these things are coming up. Can I pay myself extra during the month of April so that I can take care of these things, so that I can go? So it's a plan, and you have to look at it, but you can't do it if you don't know what's going on with your numbers. I'll sound like a broken record, and I'll repeat it for the rest of my life. You have to know what's going on with your numbers. Okay, so hopefully this all makes sense. It's not a really long, drawn-out thing. The way you pay yourself consistently is going back and watching those 3 videos, those last ones, and starting the process of that budgeting and knowing what your operating expenses are, making sure your business and personal expenses are separate, and looking and analyzing what can be kept, what can't be kept, what's needed, what's not needed, and determining how much money you're going to put aside for taxes, and then how much money you're going to be able to pay yourself. Now, I have good news, okay? The good news is most of this stuff scares the living daylights out of most entrepreneurs. They don't want to do it. They're like, how do I figure this out? Am I figuring it out correctly? Or I don't even know if I'm doing this right. The good news is I have the 4-week program, the Sassy Budget Breakthrough. And that's what I do with you. Okay, it's 5 one-on-one calls. 4 of them are 50 minutes. The last one's a wrap up. You do a lot of the work, but I'm there with you, coaching you, okay? And I am helping you figure out, okay, this is what your operating expenses are, if there's anything that can be done away with, or does everything need to be kept. I'm helping you figure out, okay, this is the best percentage for you to be putting aside for taxes. This is how to set that system into place. And then I help you figure out how much you can pay yourself. And if it's not what you want to be able to pay yourself, I help you come up with a plan and what you can do so that you can get there. Okay? You still have to do the work. You still have to go out there and increase the income and do it, but you have someone there to help you. Okay? And it's, like I said, it's 4 weeks, 5 calls. It's one-on-one with me, so it's private. It's worth over $750, and you're getting it for $129. Okay, so it closes tomorrow at midnight. We start next week. I'm super excited. I already have 2 ladies signed up. I cannot wait to get started, but I'm telling you, that's what it'll do. So if you really want to start paying yourself and you're just not sure if you can do the work by yourself from these videos, then make $129. I promise you it's worth it. You will come out with a plan. You will come out knowing what's going on with your numbers, knowing your income, knowing everything there is to know, and you'll know what you need to do. And you'll have a system in place to start paying yourself and put money up for taxes and still be able to have money invested back into the business. That's the cool thing about it. So hopefully these helped. If you think you can do it on your own, please watch the videos again. I think if you're able to, there's enough information there for you to help. If you've got questions, please reach out. But again, if you're not sure, or if you think, you know what, I don't want to do this by myself, I want to make sure that I'm making this right step, then the Sassy Budget Breakthrough is definitely for you. It's 4 weeks, one-on-one. And I want to tell you, this is the last time it will be $129. Okay, it increases to the regular price of $349 the next time I launch it. So I want to just tell you, just think about it and understand the importance of knowing your numbers. I can't stress it enough. It will literally relieve stress. You'll know you'll know what you can do, what you can't do, and you'll know what you have to do in order to make sure that you can do it. So hopefully this has answered y'all's questions. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any other questions, you can answer. Kim, I cannot wait for us to get started. I'm super, super excited. And it's an amazing deal. And I hope y'all have an awesome Easter weekend. I am now going to go spend some time with my girls for an hour or so. And then I'm going to do a little bit of work because I'm off tomorrow going dress shopping. Who would have thought? So I hope you'll have an awesome weekend. I look forward to hearing from you. Please, 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 if you are thinking that you need this, I will put the link for the Pay Me First, not the Pay Me First, I'm sorry, the link for the Sassy Budget Breakthrough in the comments after the video. If you have questions about the Sassy Budget Breakthrough, PM me. I will have my phone. I will be around. I will answer any and all questions, but I promise you it's definitely worth it. The cart closes tomorrow night at midnight Eastern. So please, please, please. And I only have room for 3 more. So please think about it. If you've got any questions, just let me know. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.